Tesla Shanghai shut down for routine maintenance or something else is our trade blast for today. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight. I want to thank all of our Patreon supporters, which you obviously are. Please also take time to like if you would, as well as share. Wow. Today's trade blast was supposed to be about the fact that Tesla's stock is sort of locked in a fairly short trading range between, let's say, 790 on the high side and about 765, 770 on the low side. And one of the challenges that happens when you trade options, or especially when you trade options, is you really need delta in order to make money. And so the usual 50-point moves for Tesla have not been available. Hence, we have kind of a locked-in position that we're seeing here. So I have to say it's a good time to maybe go flat or have options that are way out there at this time for those reasons. The second thing that's going on that we wanted to review is just the fact that we have a trading group, and one of the people in the group said that there was a Twitter note yesterday that said that the factory in China had been shut down. I have to admit, I did not know it was on a holiday up until the 5th. And then, according to Bloomberg this morning, that holiday has been extended to the 9th of May. And we kind of don't know when it's coming back into production. According to the tweet that we got, what's going on is that there's a problem, which is there are components needed from the United States that are not being produced in China yet. And those components in shortage means that the factory has to shut down until they can get those parts. Officially according to Bloomberg, it's just a routine maintenance thing that's been extended. It was stated that there is a manufacturing component that is not working properly, and so therefore they had to shut down until it is. So regardless, there is a shutdown, and it looks like this, and so we don't know what the answer is, which one it is. If I were to guess, I would argue that, a piece of manufacturing equipment costing a company that much money, you almost want to buy a new one and ship it in by plane to make sure you don't stop production. So I find it kind of hard to believe that a piece of manufacturing equipment is causing this issue. I much more would believe the whole idea that there is a parts shortage driven by the fact that there's certain parts that they can't get. I'm wondering, if I were to guess at what those parts are, the biggest concern would be there are a lot of us that have wondered whether or not there's enough battery to support the runs of production they're doing, and whether or not they weren't going to run out of batteries by now. So therefore, they really need the Gigafactory to start running again in Reno to supply batteries, because they can't get enough from the new Chinese manufacturers that are out there. So what that component is, I don't know, but there is part of the supply chain that's in Germany, and they've been operating. So it starts to reduce the number of components that it could be. And I have to say that my assessment would, if I were to really, really guess, it would be that with Giga shutdown, there aren't enough batteries for that plant to operate. And I don't think that they were shut down because they didn't want to produce too many batteries to go into Fremont, but I don't believe that they are officially shut down, so they can't go ahead and produce. I have to admit, I'm a bit surprised by this. We were watching this stock, it all of a sudden went from 786, 787 when we opened at 4 a.m. to all of a sudden 770, and I didn't know why. And this news obviously was that the last time I checked, the prices started bubbling back up to about 778. So expect a wild ride today on Tesla stock, driven by the unknowns that this introduces. I'd have to say worst case scenario of this is what happens if whatever they need to produce is coming from Fremont, and Fremont doesn't get back to production until June 1. And if you make those assumptions, you could all of a sudden have very different numeric assumptions for the quarter for Tesla if what's going on right now remains the case. Elon's the kind of operator that I think he'll definitely fix anything that he can, but something like batteries is kind of hard to fix because you need the whole gigafactory running to do that. And my understanding was that that was shut down and had not been restarted yet. So this is going to be kind of very interesting circumstance. So I want to say that I'd have a really good assessment of what's going on, but as you can tell, we're hearing two different stories from two different entities. And once we get more clarification on what's going on, we'll definitely provide it. But in the meantime, I think this means a lot of volatility, probably down on the stock. So one might want to be cautious here, make sure you have some puts in place to protect your downside, and tread lightly because this is going to be, I want to say, a fairly rough situation for the company. The final note I wanted to make is that, Battery Day is heading towards supposedly it's going to be this month, towards the end of the month. There have been a lot of folks that are articulating that Battery Day is going to be a very big deal. So I just wanted to note that theoretically Battery Day is going to represent something that needs a 3-day rule afterwards, and that's going to be significant from what Elon has implied. I am somewhat of a skeptic of this, but nonetheless, we'll report it, and I'm hoping for the best. If he's making it this kind of hype, I'm hoping it might be we get to superconducting or something else that allows Tesla to leap forward when it comes to their battery technology. Another thing that's been reported unofficially is that there's a new battery line that's been put in Fremont that supports some of the technology that Maxwell had developed. And so if that's the case, that actually would be really cool, because seeing the price drop of Tesla's vehicles driven by battery costs fall would actually be significant and definitely would affect profitability, affect market share, and obviously affect competitors as well. So we look forward to seeing what happens with this. That brings up the comment that, as we zero in on what day that's going to be, it might be in your best interest to sort of mark it on your calendar, because you may not want to sell before it, possibly plan after it, or possibly, manage yourself with a hedge a little bit if the stock accelerates. For those of you who are watching our Trade Blast today, most of you who I've just finished sending some charting that's been done by one of our viewers to you directly by email. You might want to take a peek at that in terms of what the charts imply. We're going to have a show this weekend that covers some charting, and it might be worth your observant. Also wanted to know, for those of you who are part of our 1-month trade group, we'd like to have you drop us a note, because we do have some charts we wanted to send you out so that you could get a better feel for what the charts are suggesting, resistance points are, and things that you might want to be aware of technically. Any information is good. We're thrilled to have a heavy-duty charting person among our viewers, and is interested in, letting us get a peek at it, and I think it's great, and he's going to follow up with a show. So for those of you who are not part of our trade group or on Patreon, you can look forward to, over the weekend, getting a show that covers sort of that aspect of things. At any rate, I wanted to thank you all for joining us. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight once again. I have a bunch of new things that I found at Costco that I love. I'll repeat that this is one of my new favorites. The company's called The Real Good Stuff, and it is called avocado mash, and it's awesome because I like avocados, and I can never figure out how to get them proper ripeness so they don't spoil, etc. And in this case, they give it to you in very small cases or containers, so you have 1 meal's worth of avocado you can enjoy. And I'm in the once-a-day plan pretty much right now, The other thing that they have is at Costco now is a container of diced tomatoes, basically pico de gallo. So by mixing this with my pico de gallo, I kind of have a salad almost with every meal. About to have breakfast, and that's what I'm going to do. Reduces consumption of other not so healthy for you things in my schedule. So I wanted to mention that to you guys as a couple of items to consider. Any rate, best of luck as we head into this crazy zone right now with the shutdown and its implications, and looking forward to the company officially representing what's going on. And we'll update you, maybe a break-in during the day if there's something new that develops from this. This is Greg for Teslafaninsight once again. Tschüss German, au revoir French, Lehitrot, Hebrew, Choda Hafez, Farsi, Hey Do, Swedish, Ni hao ma, Chinese, Zdravstvuyte, Russian, hello. Hope you have a wonderful day, and bye for now, and thank you for joining us.